Hi there students. Okay, in this video we're going to look at scorn, disdain, to spurn, contempt, deride and pillory. Okay, these are all words meaning to have a negative opinion of, to dislike. Okay, so let's start with scorn. Okay, scorn can either be a verb, to scorn, or a noun, scorn, uncountable. And then we could have an adjective, scornful, and an adverb, scornfully. To scorn, to feel or express contempt for somebody or something. To have a very low opinion of it. Yeah, to lack respect for something and to hate. Okay, so he has a very low opinion of these people. He scorns these people. But notice, scorn is both feeling it and expressing it. So he scorned my work by making rude comments about it. He made scornful remarks. He looked at me scornfully. Ha! Okay, so he looked at my painting with scorn. So it's as if he could do much better, and mine was beneath him. Yeah, he didn't like it at all, and he really expressed that quite strongly. Yeah, so if you scorn someone, you're saying you don't like something, and generally you're trying to hurt their feelings. Okay, the next one is disdain. So you could have a verb, to disdain, or a noun, disdain. Notice again, uncountable. You could have an adjective, disdainful, and an adverb, disdainfully. Okay, if you disdain something, you think it is not worthy of consideration or respect. So you don't think that it has any value at all, and you have absolutely no respect for it. The opposite of to disdain is to admire. Yeah? So I admire his work, I disdain his work. Yes, to disdain, to have haughty contempt of something. Haughty, you are way above it, you are much more important than it. So you are much more important than it and you hate it. So you feel that something is beneath you if you disdain it, and also you show it. Yeah? It's showing superiority and dislike of something. So maybe racists treat other people with disdain. Yeah? This is a very disdainful situation. He had a look of disdain on his face. He made a rude noise and I looked at him disdainfully. Okay, so to scorn and disdain are very similar, but I would say to scorn is stronger. To disdain, to have a bad opinion of, but scorn is a higher level. Both of these I think are fairly formal words, maybe 7. So these are not something that you would normally use in a conversation in a pub. Maybe disdain is slightly less formal than scorn. Okay, the next one is to spurn. Now notice, to spurn is only a verb, a regular verb, yeah? To spurn means to reject something with contempt and disdain. Okay, to turn your back on something, to turn something down with disgust. Would you like some of this food I've cooked? no, it looks disgusting. So I'm spurning the food. Yeah, I'm rejecting it. So notice with to spurn, the concept is to say no, you don't want it, to turn your back on something, to turn down with disgust. Okay, so I made him a very nice offer, but he spurned my offer. No, I don't want anything as stupid as that. Okay, so it's to say no, but to be insulting as you say no. The people spurned my company because I was English. Okay, so to spurn, to reject. She spurned his advances. Okay, to spurn. So, how strong is to spurn? Yeah, it's reasonably strong, probably between disdain and scorn. And to spurn as well is really quite formal. Okay, so the next word is contempt. Yeah, you could be contemptuous as an adjective. Contempt is a noun. Okay, an uncountable noun. You could have an adjective contemptuous or contemptible. So he had a contemptuous attitude, and this product is contemptible, worthy of contempt. Yeah, he treated me contemptibly. Okay, so if you feel contempt, you feel that something is inferior. You think that it's worthless. Yeah. But also you're not very nice about it. So to treat something with contempt, to hold something in contempt. Yeah. If you feel contempt for something, maybe you disregard something that should be considered. He held her feelings in contempt. He was contemptuous of her feelings. So he should have taken her feelings into account, but he completely disregarded them. Yeah? If something is contemptuous, you really hate it. You think it deserves hate. Or also contemptible. Okay, so let's look at the next. Well, what about formality first? I think contempt is less formal than scorn, disdain or spurn. Yeah? But it's still probably slightly formal. Okay, yes, so the next word is to deride. Sorry, I've forgotten something about contempt. Notice you can be in contempt of court. Yeah, this is something that you can, an offence you can be arrested for. If you show contempt of court, if the judge holds you in contempt of court, it means you have been disobedient or disrespectful in the court. Yeah, maybe you've insulted the judge or you've insulted the officers of the court. Yeah, so you are disobedient or disrespectful. Okay, but notice that's a legal idea, but it's got the same thing. You show a contemptuous attitude in court and you don't do what you should. You don't show the respect that the court thinks that you owe it. Okay, the next one is to deride, yeah, as a verb. As a noun, derision. They treated me with derision. He gave me a derisive look, an adjective. Or he looked at me derisively. And also we could have derisory, yeah? So he made me a derisory offer. To deride is to, express contempt or scorn or disdain for something, but here laughing at it, making jokes about it, to ridicule it. Yeah? So if you're deriding somebody or something, you're speaking of it and mocking it you're laughing at it because you're saying it's stupid. Yeah, so you're criticizing something by laughing at it or poking fun at it. So when the student made a mistake, there was derisive laughter. Okay, they made me a derisory offer. Okay, the offer was so small that you could only laugh at it in derision because you feel it's ridiculously low. Okay, so to deride is it's like to criticize in public, but by making a joke of, by mocking something. To deride, yeah, to deride's fairly formal as well. And how strong is it? It's probably less than scorn and more than disdain. And yes, deride, derisory, all of these are a little bit formal, probably not the most formal, maybe a 6 out of 10 or something like that. Okay, and the last word in this set is to pillory. Okay, to pillory is to criticize publicly, but very, very strongly. Notice, I think to pillory nowadays is only a verb. Yeah, so he was pilloried by the newspapers for the mistakes that he'd made. His boss pilloried him for losing the client. Teachers should never pillory students for making mistakes. Okay, so what's the origin of this word to pillory? Well, the pillory are what I would call the stocks. Maybe several hundred years, probably more. There used to be in the centre of a town 2 posts, and then there was a piece of wood between them, and there was a place for your head, and one for your hand, and one for your other hand. And then they put another piece of wood over your head and locked it so that you couldn't escape. And you were there in the public square. And then you were subject to public ridicule. People would throw rotten fruit at you. They'd criticize you, laugh at you, do anything they wanted. And that is the pillory. So you're open to public abuse. So nowadays, to pillory means to criticize publicly, to abuse publicly, but only verbally. Yeah, but this is very strong criticism, very harsh criticism. I think probably of all of these words, to pillory is probably the strongest, but it's only verbal. Yeah, so I'd say to pillory is the strongest. Maybe after that to scorn, to spurn, to disdain. Actually, no, to spurn, to deride, to disdain. Oh no, to deride, then contempt, and then to disdain. And I think disdain is probably the weakest. To pillory, that's quite a formal verb as well, and it's a regular verb. Okay, so let's just go through them again before I stop. To scorn, to feel strong contempt for something, to express that you hate something, that you really have a very low opinion of it. To feel disdain, to feel something that is not worthy of consideration or respect or thinking about. To spurn, to turn your back on, but in a contemptuous way, showing that you don't like it. Contempt, to feel that something is worthless and has no value. To deride, to laugh at something, to criticize something by making a joke of it, by making it the laughing stock. And the final one, to pillory, to criticize very harshly in public, to abuse verbally in public. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. So, scorn, disdain, spurn, contempt, deride and pillory.